This video was brought to you by the Critical Language Service. To learn more about our Arabic courses taught via telepresence and Skype to schools, homeschool groups, and other small groups, visit our website at www.criticallanguageservice.com.
Welcome to chapter 12. Let's look at the words أول وآخر. أول as in أول مرتبة أول مركز first place, and آخر as in العشاء الأخير الآخر the last supper. Enjoy. The words آخر and أول are superlative in meaning and function, even though they do not appear to match وزن أفعل. Words على وزن أحسن we have أفعل we have أحسن whereas أول for example or آخر they don't match the pattern. So أول you don't have, first of all you don't have the أفعل pattern, آخر pattern, even though they act as a word of تفضيل. They don't have the same vowels because أول and آخر, and أحسن has a أحسن. So they act the same, they do pretty much the same thing, but they are not from the same family. So, and since they act like a superlative and they give the meaning of a superlative, so they must be followed by indefinite noun. So they don't have the same form, but they get all the perks. And as you can see, the resulting phrase is indefinite in Arabic, even though the English equivalent is definite. So the first place, أول مرتبة, آخر عشاء, the last dinner, آخر عشاء, indefinite. So there's a concrete example for you. آخر فيلم شاهدناه كان طويلا جدا ومملا. The last movie, آخر فيلم, so it's indefinite but its equivalent in English is definite, was really long and boring. آخر فيلم, the last. Same for أول كتاب قرأته بالعربية كان قصة لنجيب محفوظ. So the first book, أول كتاب I read in Arabic was a story for نجيب محفوظ. أول كتاب, the first. Same for عامية. أول مرة شفته فيها كانت من 3 سنين. The first time I saw him was 3 years ago. The first time, definite in English, indefinite in Arabic. أول مرة, أول كتاب, آخر فيلم, all indefinite. Notice that in the above examples, أول and آخر are followed by جملة الصفة. What is جملة الصفة? جملة الصفة are sentences that describe an indefinite noun, like film here, and it's a complete sentence that can stand on their own, but in the context of a larger sentence needs to be related back and linked back to the noun. So that means I can say شاهدت فيلما طويلا جدا ومملا, or شاهدت فيلما طويلا جدا ومملا. But I can also say فيلم, آخر فيلم, and then have this sentence that describes this film as being the last, the tallest and most boring movie that I've seen, and then this sentence needs to be related to what it's describing with the pronoun. Same for قرأته بالعربية كان قصة لنجيب محفوظ. So this thing describes the book, and it's a sentence, the complete sentence that can stand by itself, but in a bigger context needs to be linked to whatever it's describing. Same for عامية. أول مرة شفته فيها كانت منذ 3 سنوات. So I'm describing the first time I've seen him, and it was 3 years ago. شفته فيها. Oh, since it's مرة, so فيها relates to مرة. Now let's look at the verbs find out and learn of. The verbs علم بي and عرف overlap in meaning, but علم بي tends to be a bit more formal. So, to know, find out, to learn of, both have the same meaning, but علم بي is more used in more formal context. And the past tense of these verbs means found out or learned of. Like other verbs referring to states of being, such as nama, these verbs signal an entry into a state, for example, of knowing or of sleeping. So, this changed you from being didn't know to know. I think that's very human. So, how do we use it? We can say it like we say it in English, when I learned of something. Example: عندما علمت بنجاحي في الامتحان كنت سعيدة جدا طبعا. So, when I learned of my success in the test, I was happy, of course. عندما, when, علمت بنجاحي. So, this changed the state. When I learned, I became. So, you entered into a state of being happy after learning the good news. كنت سعيدة جدا. And the use I learned the news of, we said we can use it in, it's more of a عامية thing. And you can use it as عرفت خبر وفاة ستي لما كنت في القاهرة. So I learned of my grandma's passing when I was in Cairo. Verb to visit. The verb يزور takes a direct object just like its English counterpart. So زرت جدي وجدتي واستمتعت بزيارتي كثيرا. So I visited my grandma and grandpa, direct object, and I enjoyed the visit very much. So جدتي وجدتي are the object of this زرت. جدي وجدتي. أنا زرت جدي وجدتي واستمتعت بالزيارة كثيرا. And in عمية you can say عايزين تزوروا عم نبيل في اسكندرية وتنزلوا البحر. Okay, so it means do you want to visit Uncle Nabil in Alexandria and go to the sea? So who are we going to visit is the object of our sentence. So تزوروا, أنتم تزوروا, فعل فاعل, and عم نبيل here is the direct object, is the person that we're going to visit. The verb قضى يقضي, قضى يقضي in عامية. The verb قضى يقضي, قضي يقضي must be followed by a period of time, because we're talking about time spent, like a week, a year, a vacation, and we're going to see examples for each one. First, a week. So if I'm talking about spending a week on the beach, this beautiful, beautiful beach, I would say قضينا, if we are, there's a lot of us, قضينا. So we spent, and spent is always followed by time period, in this case a week. أسبوعا على, isn't this a beautiful, beautiful beach? على البحر, by the sea. And for a year you can say سنقضي, we are going to spend, so it's the future. سنقضي. What do we need after قضى? سنقضي, yes, time period, and in this case it's سنة, a year. في تونس, beautiful Tunisia, في تونس. I added an extra. لدراسة اللغة العربية. So you have سنقضي, قضى, and then time period. So an example, this time in عامية, and it's not a time period per se, but it's still, vacation is considered a time indicator. So it says حنقضي, notice how I'm pronouncing the as the. حنقضي الأجازة, so this is your time indicator. الأجازة كلها في البيت in the house. عشان جوزي مريض, because my husband is sick. Can't you just say that? So هنقضي الأجازة, we're going to spend the vacation. And this is in عامية, مصري عامية. And another thing that you should know is that the word signaling the period, like vacation, year, week, أسبوع, سنة, الأجازة, must be منصوب. Just trust me for now, and you will see why later in this chapter. And for those of you who for some reason forgot what mansub is that fatha at the end of the word. You have it when a word is like مفعول به. مفعول به is mansub.
علينا الليالي تفوت وكبر حزن العشق